How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Refrigerator Full of Heads. This is the sequel series to Basketful of Heads, and today we're talking about number 6, which I believe is the final issue. This is from DC's Black Label and Joe Hill's Hill House Comics, and is written by Rio Youers with art by Tom Fowler. And I guess I should say right off the bat, this is the ending, and this is also a pretty action-heavy issue. So this review will probably be a little shorter. I don't want to spoil everything about the ending, and there's only so much I can say about prolonged action sequences, so this might be a shorter review. But overall, this is the big action-heavy final fight that a lot of you were probably hoping for. And, there is, not gonna lie, lots of silly moments in this. If you want dumb fun, that's something that is going to be here, but a lot of people who are disappointed with, how the original Basketful of Head was really, contemplative and really well written, and this new one is very different. It doesn't change in the final act. It, if anything, goes even farther, so we'll get more into that in a little bit. But let's go ahead and take a closer look at this cover here. We get Basketful of Heads. This is I believe the first time the logo's been purple. I think every other one was red. And then we get our main character with the axe with an abstract snake wrapping around her. And also, do you remember last time I talked about how my finger took off some of the ink? I thought that may have just been a one-time deal, but I was trying not to touch the cover too much because I could feel it coming off in my hands. So I had my palm against the spine, and now there's a big white mark on the spine. I thought last time when that happened it was just a one-time deal, but no, this book definitely has cheap ink on the cover, and I'm really waiting for comic book shops to start selling felt gloves to handle these things with, if the ink is going to be that big of an issue. But anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the issue and talk a little bit about the plot. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to analyze the book a little bit, so let's take a look at the insides. We open up with a before section, and we get to see our two main characters, the agents. They're at their desk, and they're talking about, it's probably just going to be a observe and report mission. We're just going to get a vacation by the lake and see what's up. And, of course, we know it wouldn't just be that. And then, of course, the guy talks about his girlfriend and says that she's actually pregnant and they're going to get married. And it's kind of a bit of a send-off for this character. When he died like an issue or two ago, I thought his death was really brushed over, and I'm like, he was one of your lead characters and he's dead. That should have at least gotten a full-page splash. But I do like they went back and gave him a little send-off, even if it was a little late. Anyway, June is, of course, fighting the snake when you will get your new main character coming in to help. And that's where we get a panel that kind of sums up what this book is like. Look at this full-page splash. Big snake man with a truck ramming into him. The front of the truck has a living shark head on it that is biting him in half. I talked about earlier how, what I thought was the idea behind this book was, how the original line of Hill House Comics was all talking about sort of a different decade, and Basketful of Heads was the 80s, and they were kind of referencing 80s slashers and reinventing them. And I realized with this book, they're kind of talking more about 80s grindhouse movies, but still, you're going, at this point, this is much more than any 80s grindhouse movie would be able to do, and you're almost entering the modern world of, like, say, Asylum movies when you do something like this. So yeah, I was kind of disappointed when they showed the big snake guy. I thought it was just way too far and way too silly. And, you know, if you're going to introduce something like that, I guess you might as well lean into it. You know, if you're going to go dumb, I guess go big or go home. But that being said, you get to this point in the story with Giant Snake Man being bit in half by Shark Truck, and yeah, it's way too far, you know? It doesn't feel like a sequel to Basketful of Heads. But anyway, Snake Guy can't be killed so easy, and he starts to regenerate, and that's when she opens up the truck door and tosses something to June, and the line is, "June, catch," and then you flip to the next page, and the sound bubble literally goes, "Catch." But June, once again, is reunited with her axe, and she is going to battle against the snake monster, and I think that's why I'll leave you off, because I don't really want to go into any major spoilers. But yeah, the big epic battle. Our old protagonist has her axe back. The new one has Shark Truck, and they're fighting Big Snake Person. You know, it does get pretty silly, but I do kind of appreciate that if they're going to go big and silly, they went as big and silly as they could. But I feel like introducing the Snake Person in the last issue, it just made it go from, hey, this is a Grindhouse 80s movie, to all of a sudden this is an Asylum 2000s movie, and I feel it was just a step too far and was too dumb. And this book, by the end of it, it really doesn't feel like the same universe as Basketful of Heads, you know? The magic in Basketful of Heads wasn't so flashy, and it was more disturbing, you know? And this isn't near as thoughtful, and I'll probably do a review on the whole story as well, and maybe talk about these things more here. But if they're gonna go dumb, I guess I appreciated they went insanely stupid, but a big, flashy firework ending. What I will say about the absolute ending, again in kind of vague terms, is there is a good sentimental wrap-up moment with the characters, and I did like that. But the last few pages ended on another joke, and again, we're in stupid territory there. The last couple panels of this story is very stupid joke. But anyway, yeah, mixed feelings on this. I mean, I like that they didn't do the exact same thing as Basketful, but I wish it had fit in more. And I get the idea of doing a different 80s genre, but I wish they made it clear that that's what they were doing. And then there was other problems, like not just telling us that they were government agents. I mean, that just kind of made the characters feel weird, and we didn't really know what they were supposed to be up to. They wanted a twist like the first story, but it wasn't as good of a twist. And yeah, the book, it just, if they had been more upfront with what they were doing, and if they had, you know, made it, you know, clear like, hey, we're doing a Grindhouse story, and if they had held back just a little at the end, maybe there could have been something here. But as it stands, this is a big dumb sequel to Basketful of Heads, and it's still enjoyable, and I think if you had the whole thing at once and you could read it through front to back in, like, really little time, that'd probably be a much more enjoyable way to read it. But yeah, I'm still a bigger fan of Basketful, but dumb fun, interesting for what it is, and the finale did go big, and I do like that. Anyway, I guess that's all I have to say for this one. To everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everybody who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Hill House Comics playlist. You can see my review for all the past issues, plus Basketful of Heads and Lolo Woods. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Hill House playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.